think that Finland can exist without immigrants? Can function or grow without immigrants?
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. I don't think so.
Why?
Well, I think. Well. Okay, this one's random. Is it?
You can take your time. Take your time.
Oh, not recording.
Yes. You can take your time. I can ask Boss the same question. Boss, do you think Finland can function and grow without immigrants?
No, of course not.
So why?
Why?
Yes.
From where should I start? Without immigrants, the Finnish people, they wanna do, most of them they don't wanna work. They wanna work 8 hours. So the country will stop. Who will do the rest of the hours? With this, we are the ones who's running it actually. Immigrants, foreigners, everybody, we are the ones who's working morning till evening and paying taxes. They need as much us than we need them. So this is now most of the immigrants home now. What they want, we sell everything and we go home. That they want. That's not possible.
These new proposed policies on immigration and residence permits and citizenship, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's very tough. Who gonna earn 40,000, 30,000? Even the Finnish people, most of them, they don't earn that much in a year, but they want to immigrants who earn that one. So I think it's a little bit harsh for everybody. They sit there and in a parliament, so it costs benefit what they are getting. Who's paying it? Tax people, So this is some point what I've become angry on the person who is deciding what they are thinking. Are they living in Finland? Or are they living somewhere above? There is people. I'm not saying there is not people misuse it. So, but you cannot punish everybody who the 1 or 2% is doing it. Fix it. Make them change what we need to change, but not that everybody is in the same side and they look on all immigrants the same way 1% is doing it, and this is not correct.
There's the argument that most immigrants who come here sit on the social welfare and don't work and don't pay taxes.
Yeah, that's the 1% I'm saying. They are the one who's misusing it. So fix that one. No, not that 99% who's paying tax and you saying to them, you are the one, you should go. That's not correct. And they're supposed to fix the problem, not throw everything out and that's it. The government thing, all the immigrants go out and the country will run. So they are dream about it, but it's not even possible. They can dream it, but after that there will be big trouble. There's immigrants, they're working. I know my customers, they're working morning till evening. So that's something they should think about.
You are the boss. You are the boss in the shop. You own the shop. And you've been running it for how many years?
I have been running here around 6 years now, and I am dealing with mostly my customers are from Africa, Asian people. So I know what they do and how tough the life they have to survive and pay everything. So, but it's not easy. If they think it's easy, so let them do all the work. But we immigrants are doing it, and let's see after that how they feel.
Thank you, boss.
No problem. Thank you very much.
20th June 2023, the new Prime Minister, Orbo, and his cabinet released the document carrying their program for the next 4 years and beyond. The program, a 274-page document, detailed proposed policies for every sector of the Finnish society. Among these proposed policies was the restructuring of immigration and status of immigrants within the Finnish society. Following the release of the proposed policies on immigration, there has been a series of protests, insightful comments on major social media platforms by prominent parliamentarians, and debates on the practicality and legality of the proposed immigration policies. The rhetoric and reactions to immigrants and immigration policies got me wondering, is immigration necessarily a good thing or bad occurrence for Finland? Given the current population structure of Finland, can Finland function and grow without immigrants? All immigrants were to leave Finland. All. Remove all immigrants from the education sector, healthcare, medical, services, transport, cleaning, all. Take us all out. Would the Finnish society survive?
What a tough question. I would start with history. Do you know how many maternity wards in Finland have been closed? Okay, between 1987 till 2018, when the last research was done, at least the one I read some time back. In 1987, we had 53 maternity wards in Finland. 3. But then, by 2018, there were only 24 left.
Whoa.
So that makes 30 gone. Yes. So if you look at it, it's because the number of deaths in a year weighs or outnumbers the number of births
Yeah.
in a year. And for a maternity ward in a given hospital to survive, it has to register not less than 1,000 kids in a year.
Of which there are now less.
So let's say this is Tuusula. We have a maternity ward, right? For it to continue being there, at least 1,000 kids, children, should be born there in a year. Now, 30 of the from 53 maternity wards could not register that number. Just 1,000 in a year to make it see their other year. So that has brought all the maternity wards from 53 in 1987 to 24 in 2018. Now, if you look at it, compare that against the death rates. The death rates every year is always higher
than the birth rate.
That is number one.
Let's take a pause on Mr. Okello's answer for a few minutes and take a trip down the historical memory lane of the Finnish population evolution. Historically, Finland has always had a certain level of symbiotic relationship with immigrants. Immigrants in this context refers to individuals whose parents and or ancestry is not Finnish, including individuals who immigrated from other known states or countries. For much of the Finnish history, immigration has been a major source of population and cultural growth. The earliest record of the Finnish population dates back to 1750s with a total population of over 400,000 people. Over the next 55 years, the population steadily grew and reached 896,000 people before it dropped to 863,000 in 1810. The Finnish borders expanded during the early 1800s, adding 12,000 people in 1809 and 185,000 in 1811. However, the dip in the population occurred as a result of the Finnish War fought between Sweden and Russia in 1808 and 1809. This war resulted in Finland becoming a part of the Russian Empire. From 1810 to 1865, the population then grew steadily again until 1870 when it dipped from 1.84 million to 1.77 million. This second dip in population size was due to the occurrence of the cholera epidemic and the Finnish famine of 1866 to 1868, which subsequently resulted in fatalities of around 8.5% of the entire Finnish population. After the independence in 1917, Finland successively experienced a brief civil war, heavy fighting against Russia in World War II, and mass emigration to Sweden. A significant portion of the population was lost due to these conflicts. Considering the wars and famines and epidemics Finland experienced, why has there been a steady increase in its population size? From 1950 to 2020, Finland has enjoyed a steady stream of immigrants exceeding emigration. This has boosted its population growth and significantly helped to diversify the economy. Immigration is important for Finland because the natural increase, which refers to the birth rate in population, has steadily declined. This is because from 1950 to 2020, the death rate has continuously exceeded the birth rate. Perhaps Okello may be wrong in his analysis. Immigrants in Finland only make up about 500,000 compared to 5 million Finns of the total population in 2023. Surely, the economic and social impact of these 500,000 people should be minuscule at best. Finland is a social welfare state practicing mixed economic system. Its social welfare system is funded through a combination of taxation, government revenue, and a strong commitment to social welfare policies. With a population of over 5.5 million, the Finnish economy spans across 21 industries. Cumulatively, all of these industries employ over 2.2 million Finns and over 120,000 foreigners, totaling over 2.3 million people of the total Finnish population. Amongst the immigrant population, there are over 14,000 entrepreneurs of foreign origin. Over 23,000 persons work as level 1 professionals, while over 21,000 work as level 1 service and sales workers. The industries employing the immigrant population the most include administrative and support service activities, construction, agriculture, forestry, and fishing and manufacturing.
The Finnish society, let's say now, like you said, the most extreme part of it, that we send every immigrant, all of them collectively. We don't talk of Africans, we don't talk of the Philippines, we don't talk of
Regardless of origin.
you guys, we can survive. You take all that and then you go back to the statistics that we just indicated. Immigrants are quite a small token in today's society. We don't even add up to 6 million. Is it 700 million?
Yeah. It's less than a million.
It's less than a million. So look at that. You leave it to the Finnish society to sustain itself. There is a lot that might happen. It is possible that the country might collapse.
In what ways?
Now, let's say, for instance, during this new policy announcement, I thought, what if just one day all the immigrants, not from Africa, all the immigrants collectively call in sick one day?
That's a good simulation.
One day, all of them call in sick. They don't go to work.
Mm.
Then you will see the repercussions. How many people will die? How many businesses will suffer? Because immigrants are all over. Of course, there is a narrative that they are showing that we are only in this casual labor
industry,
thing.
yeah.
Yes, but that is where the economy is. That is where the economy is. Services. If you say all the nurses are not going to work of foreign origin, Philippines, whatever, how many people will die? If you say that all the bus drivers, taxi drivers, are supposed to stay at home, what would happen? Just in a day.
All the cleaners.
All the cleaners stay at home because let's say we are not appreciated enough. Stay at home. What would happen? That is an extreme action, but it has got a very big repercussion into the economy, I think. Anyway, so if you look at it from that point of view, you will realize that without foreigners or without immigrants in Finland, there is no way Finland will succeed.
So, what do you think of this new Finnish immigration policy that is proposed by the new cabinet?
Yeah, it's for like in my opinion, representing especially the migrant entrepreneurs, I feel it's troubling in the sense that because we clearly know that Finland needs more migrants because we are lacking of employees and skilled knowledge. We need more people to come to Finland and work, and even as a Finnish resident or it might be quite difficult sometimes to get employed. So basically, this short period that is suggested now is really hard when you're coming from a different culture, considering language barriers, considering bureaucracy in Finland. It's a very short time to be able to become a worker citizen in Finland. I mean, it's a short period, and here I don't see it as a solution, because it will only make things harder to actually achieve. And I think, considering the future of Finland and population aging, these questions need to be, compared together.
I think they depart from a point of view in which immigrants are mainly, or part of them, seen as a problem and like a weight and an issue, and where their presence or the future presence of people or using social benefits will be restricted strongly. I think it points like fingers. We mentioned too much, that it's too critical, that it departs from a very negative immigration in general. Even we see like many like highly qualified immigrants now protesting that they are so essential, and there's so much discourse about Finland wants to attract highly paid immigrants, but also like less paid immigrants do very essential jobs in Finland. That's not valued as much, and that feels unfair. And I remember like statistics of the type that we could and use in perussuomalaiset through Finns discourses and forums, like that calculations of the immigrants in general, and then categorized by citizenship, bringing less economically to the country than they provide. And how are these studies done? Based on how much people earn. So if you're a cleaner, let's say, and you earn less, you do an essential job, and then your wife, family members use some benefits, they go to school, there's a cost, and that cost is bigger than what you immigrants in general, or immigrants of the citizenships, it gives these statistics in which the turnover or the result is negative. But is it negative for Finland? Well, if those people were not there, then someone would have to do that cleaning. Higher pay, I guess. Yeah. So the people get critics, and they are part of such studies, if we may call them like that, justify a critical view, because they are paid less, because they are in the lower part of the economic system. Yeah. And maybe they are highly qualified, maybe they have degrees, and they are not given the chances to get better pays in their fields and do the work where they can find it, to help themselves and help others, and they are indeed helping the society and doing important things.
Well, okay, 15 years. I think 15 years is enough to say that it's very rare to see a lot of immigrants, especially in my city in the north. So I would say that time it was just like dull. Like it was just boring, it was quiet, there was no, like everything is okay, but we are not really seeing advancement and all these international connections, like having international shops, having like even social media wasn't so active then. So all these kind of things were kind of keeping the cultures and the new ideas and innovations away from us. So it's like we are just living in the bush. That's how it felt for me. We are just living, there's nothing is happening. We are just within ourselves, amongst ourselves, our own, and then maybe if you see an African person, maybe you see like one or two in a day, but now if I go to, like, I live in the city center, so the moment I go out, probably the first guy I will see is a world guy from Africa, so every 5 minutes, every 3 minutes, you'll be seeing foreigners, with their businesses. Like now we have a lot of entrepreneurs, especially after COVID, that really came out and, got inspiration and ideas to share their products. And, people are so excited to try new things. And like, even if I look at the food industry, that is something that, even though Finns might be shy to try different things or get to know with different cultures or even different people, but when it comes to food, like Chinese food, like any type of Asian food or this Turkish food, or like, we are excited to try it. So little by little, all these cultural influences have been coming closer to us, and we have been able to taste them and try them and see that they're actually, giving us something. It's like a gift. It's giving us new experiences, helping us to understand more about the culture, because definitely if someone serve you food, you also be interested to know more about their culture, talk to the people, know their background, know their traditions, the lifestyle they live, the views and opinions they have. And in that way, we have been able to, learn from interacting with foreigners that, oh, wow, these people actually have very nice ideas. And when we look at it from a bigger scale, like if we look at some stores that we have now, or some businesses that we have now, and you look at the business owners, you look at who are running the business, you find out that it's not only the Finns that are doing it anymore, but foreigners have come to brought their views, they have come to brought their ideas. Because, I was just thinking about this, like, if we have a meeting with different nationalities and we are sitting at a table, and let's imagine everybody's engineers, for example, and they want to build a house. If you start asking them, okay, how should we build it? None of them will give you the same answer. Somebody will bring, different views, like, okay, we should focus on this thing, then we can do it like this, like this, like this. So of course, everybody knows, all of them knows how to build a house, but maybe what might be their priority, or the things that they will focus on, will be different. And imagine that all of them will now build a house. Do you know that it will be very good? Because maybe the Finn might do it in a very traditional Finnish way, and they might not even know that there is a technique that you can use to build the house that is much more faster, it will cost less money, and it will still bring the same quality. You understand? Then maybe if there's somebody that they don't know that you need to put something else in between before you can put another thing, that it can prevent mold and other things that are affecting the weather, because definitely the way they build houses here in Finland is different from Nigeria, for example, or it's different from UK because of the climate. So what I'm trying to say with all of this is that, like, I just see all of us as equal individuals that are bringing something new to the table. Everybody has something to give and also something to learn from. Because I think it is, I'm so sorry to say, but for me, it is foolishness if you think that you can just cope on your own on every area of life and in every area of business and in every area of the things that concern the government, and you think that that's enough, that you don't need anybody's help, you don't need anybody's ideas, because that is not how we were made. We were not made to be alone. We were not just made one race. It's not just white race or the black race or the yellow or anything. So I think like once we travel, once we even meet new people, our eyes are opened to understand that this is like one organ. The whole world is like one organ that is trying to work together to make the whole body function.
Yeah.
So if you cut somebody out, if you take your lung, like we have two lungs, if you take one lung out, you can still survive, but it will not be so efficient. Maybe after the surgery, you won't be able to run so fast anymore. You won't be able to do the things you did before. But now that you have the two lungs, you function better. So in the same way, when we have this acceptance and this love and understanding and respect towards other cultures, other people, in that way, we'll be able to benefit everything that they have to offer to us, to our cause, to our matter. But that's why I said it is blindness, it is foolishness when we think that we don't need it. How can you even know that you don't need those people if you have not have an encounter with them, you have not shared thoughts, you have not shared anything, and maybe just because of assumption and prejudice, you are seeing something in them you don't like. That's why you're thinking that no, we don't need them, we are okay, we are good to go. You might be okay, but what if those people make everything better for you? Then have you ever met anybody that doesn't want things to be better than how they were before? So that's my own.
My name is Panu. I'm a researcher from the University of Helsinki. I'm researching actually anti-racism policies.
And what do you think about the recent Finnish immigration proposed policies? What do you think about it for this new government?
It's going to be very difficult. There are some proposals that are problematic when it comes to our legislation, like fundamental rights, and also our, the human rights treaties Finland has fulfilled and imposed. So and the timing is also quite problematic to tighten immigration policies, because as this documentary is about the demography of, or the immigration, if is immigration needed or not, the demographic situation in this country is quite problematic.
Okay.
And due to that, we would need desperately more people moving in, young people especially, because the demographic dependency rate will be in near future very problematic. There are few people in the working age and a lot of people in, let's say elderly or age after work. So it's not good for the economy. It's not good for, if we think that there's quite a comprehensive social services in this country because of this idea of welfare state. So it also requires money, funding, and it comes from the taxes mainly, and entrepreneurs, workers who are giving their hands and legs to the economy. So that's a quite big issue in this country.
The immigration policy has quite a lot of requirements for immigrants who want to become permanent resident here and those who want citizenship. Some of the requirements are you have to write the language tests before you can be a permanent resident, and then you have to earn a certain income. I think it was 30 or 40,000 per year, per annum. And then you have to also get a job within 3 months if your contract ends. Otherwise, you would have to leave. Those are some of the conditions. So, what do you think about it? How do you think this will impact the labor force in Finland and the well-being of immigrants in general in Finland?
Finland is not the only country they are changing, because Sweden is also now changing their whole immigration policy. So, as I think, if I'm correct, the government is planning to bring in line with all the immigration policy in line with the other Nordic countries. But there are a lot of like challenges in it, especially for as an immigrant, because especially when the three months duration to find an employment. If you lost an employment, then within 3 months of duration, you need to find it employment. I think it's a bit challenging for immigrants because Finland is not that's a huge economy as other big, like for example Germany or US, or where the possibility of getting a job is higher. And also, even I think in Finland, the whole job process takes more than 3 months. If I'm like it can take more than 3 months. For example, from the application jobs, application interview time, and call for it takes longer than time. So I think it's not a good option if Finnish government want to attract the talents to Finland, because experts are always look into the more future prospect. They if they are having any parallel offers from other countries, other big economy, then definitely they will think twice or thrice whether to take this option or not. So that's my thought.
The Nordic model of an employment model states that if you're a job seeker, you need to, in 3 months time, you're obliged to look for 4 jobs. Now, it could be in your field, outside your field, as an obligation to be entitled to the benefit. You will need to prove to your unemployment agent that you have been looking for a job for the last 3 months. It's put in your plan. So, and that even is difficult for people to find a job. My clients apply for job. It could be pizzeria, it could be cleaning, it could be construction, it could be waitering, sales. They don't get the job. It means that they are at the peril of employers to provide them with job, and the employer has the audacity to choose whoever they want to work for them. They are not obliged to take people to work. So basically, what the new law is trying to say is that you're between a rock and a wall. Employers don't want to employ you, but you are obliged to look for a job. You look for a job, some job might be fitting for you, but you don't get it. So what the new law is in, even with the new obligation to look for a job, in 3 months' time, you should be able to find a job or look for a job. Now, the Finns wouldn't have to leave the country, even though they wouldn't find a job if they're unemployed. But the immigrant will have to leave if he doesn't take any menial job, for example, cleaning. But let it be of choice, not of sort of a force. Because when you do that, it's like indentured labor. The government wants to make Finland to prosperous, or I don't know the word they use, a viable society, a viable economy. Competitive. But the thing is, if you want to be competitive and international, then you must be open to different skills, a diversity of competence. Exploit them, use them. That will busters your competitiveness. But if you don't use labor force available to you, and you say you're going to be competitive, it doesn't make sense. How do you want to be competitive when you don't use the resources available at your disposal? How would you then if you don't tap into competence, how can you be competitive? because the word out there is embracing everything else that they have, and you are refusing what you have, but you want to compete. With what? You got two hands, and you got 10 other hands to join your hands, but you said, no, I will compete only with two hands.
How does that work?
You can't compete with two hands against 10 hands out there. So it just don't make sense. I think it's just a right wing mentality or right wing philosophy to sort of perpetuate their thoughts. But it just wouldn't work because a lot of progressive things so far have done work. Believe in, like, say, last government, the many policies that were in place that has been embraced by progressive minded people. So, and most of these people are still in civil services, the civil servants. The good thing about Finland is that politicians change, but civil servants don't change.
Don't change. Yeah.
However, civil servants are obliged to follow government policy if enacted by law. But with reluctance, they would really much find means to sort of find a balance. So, like we talked about, we've been involved in some building good relationship in society through the creating a enable environment for immigrants to work, to study, to contribute. And if that is not happening with these new policies, I don't see how would Parliament then enact a law that will shoot Finland in the foot and kind of bring Finland down to its knees, because without immigrant input, this country cannot thrive in no way.
So you can see the population pyramid here, here in this diagram, which literally says how the situation of population changing in Finland, and how the projection, what kind of population will be there in 2070. As you can see in 2022, around we have still, at least there is a more working group population, younger population, and in 2070 you can see that the orange line shows that there will be more number of people who are in the age group of 75 plus, and the working or younger group is reducing or reducing in number, and the older group is widening or expanding in their population. So normally the population pyramid should be, if it's a very healthy population, it should be like in the triangle shape. So the younger population should be more wider or on the bottom, and the older population should be in the top.
Yes.
Triangle. So as you can see now, it's the whole pyramid is getting more cylindrical shape, more or less cylindrical shape,
which shows that the dependency rate is getting higher and higher each year.
You can also interpret that in that way, like, because when there is a population aging, and the population, when the whole population has like more than 65 plus or 75 plus, which also means that they also depending on social welfare, like for pension, or and because they are no longer working, so they depend on the society. So there will be less number of working age group and more number of dependent, like older people who are depending on the society.
For those who left the medical industry, what percentage of fees would you say left the medical industry?
I may not know the percentage, like how bad people have left, but the percentage I don't know. I do have a lot of workmates who have left. They're doing other courses now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Switching
they are
careers
switching
entirely.
careers entirely.
Mm.
And some are leaving the country. And not like only immigrants who are leaving the country. Also the Finns
Okay.
are leaving the country, going to Sweden, where nurses are getting paid so well, and Norway.
Okay.
Yeah, they are leaving. I know a lot of them who have left. So it's not only like immigrants who are leaving, also Finns are leaving.
So that means that those who are presently working in the field right now are overworked.
Obvious. Yes, there is all the time you go to work, in most of the days, there is shortage of workers. And you find that the number of patients you have and the number of nurses you have in a shift doesn't match
Okay.
at all.
Ideally, how many patients should a single nurse handle in a day?
No, well, it depends.
It depends.
It
Okay.
depends. It depends. It depends. Like me, when I talk to according to like where I work, for us it's like in the morning you have 4 to 5 patients, in the evening you have 5 to 6 patients.
Okay.
But even that, it's not an easy thing. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And that end up like you don't give the quality of care that is needed. It's not up to the standard. Because obviously you are running up and down. There's someone who would like to talk to you. You listen to that patient. You will not have time for that. You will not have time.
Oh, wow. So there's a crisis.
There is crisis in healthcare. There is crisis, and that's why I'm saying Finland cannot survive without immigrants at all.
The committee that will be set up have to look into the profitability or the sustainability of the policies and how much it will have an impact on the image of Finland in terms of immigration, whether or not it is in line with the constitution of Finland, the rights of the individual, the rights of members of society, whether or not it is constitutional to kind of point out or cite out a particular group of people and create rigid regime or regulations for them alone with no justification of an across the board level playing field. So I think it is a wishful thought by people who are anti-immigration or anti-immigrants, and they don't understand the contribution of immigrants to Finland. That's why they make such proposal. They don't understand that if immigrants do not work or do not have the purchasing power, the entrepreneurs, shops, restaurants, cafes, hotels, they will suffer. If you look at the unemployment sector, it's like healthcare and social services. But let's look at healthcare. There are a lot of jobs in healthcare, nurses or caregivers open, but there are fewer applicants for these jobs. And when you compare the open vacancies for healthcare workers or caregivers to those who are unemployed in that field, is disproportionate. So what happens is that if everyone was getting the job or was able to do the job without any factors, say fatigue, burnout, or whatever, or the conditions at work, every healthcare position will be filled.
Yeah.
But because either it is bad pay, bad conditions, very pressurous environment where people have stress,
Or language
requirements, these inhibitors for employment. So people then begin to, employers don't give the job they should give to people because of the criteria they set are so high, knowing that the needs for the services are very much important. So the unemployment of people in these health services doesn't necessarily mean that there are no workforce. There are workforce. It's how the employers tap into the workforce the requirement is set for the workforce. And very often Finns don't want to do these jobs because they've worked, they're unemployed, and they get probably 75 to 80% of the income that they make from their unemployment fund. Compared to the work they would do when they work on taxation, they would earn less. So they would rather sit home and enjoy the benefit of unemployment, whereas immigrants then build the society and work. And the same immigrants who work hard, 2-3 jobs, are the ones who are now being told that you need 3 months if you lose your job to find another job or leave the country. Now what the Finnish government is trying to propose is that immigrants now, whether you are a lawyer, a doctor, a researcher, or an IT professional, if your company goes bankrupt or they downsize you will not have to take any job. Meaning you have to go to clean toilets or go to make beds in hotels, housekeeping, or go to be a bus driver or a train conductor, something that is far from your area. So why not give them ample time, say a year or indefinite time to look for a job? And if you choose to work in the cleaning industry until you find a job, let it be your choice, not force labor.
During the time of Corona, things became even worse. Because the conditions were too much for the nurses. Some left the career. They left. They switched to other things, and some left the country. So, and still, the aging group of Finland, it's very high. So many people who are aging. There is a lot of old people and people who are aging. And a lot of people are they are just going to pension soon. A lot of them. And young people, they are not studying nursing per se. I think it's because of how people are viewing nursing nowadays. It's difficult. And then all the difficulties that nurses had to go, especially during the time of Corona. And they felt they are not heard. And then it comes like that, yes, there is a shortage, people are standing, and the shortage will not end unless something is done. This is not just we can say it's a group of people that is causing this shortage. This is something that need to be tackled with countrywide. It's not just a one-sided thing. It's not because the problem is payment. When people are paying less, obviously they will switch to other careers. Nurses are being promised we are going to earn the salary, but nothing comes out.
Okay.
Nothing.
So I know there was one time when the industry went on strike.
Yes.
And they promised to have an increase in the salary.
Even after now, peanut.
Okay, in cents.
Yes, something so small that can't even pay what nurses went through.
So it wasn't significant.
It's not significant. That is one thing. What the payment that has rent people out of nursing field. That is one thing. Then the second thing, people are not studying nursing anymore. That thing, immigrant. People study and then they go out to other English-speaking nations where the payment is better, the working conditions are better, and you don't need to learn new language. And now the fact that all the time, we here in Finland, people are talking about negative things about immigrants. So, sometimes you may feel, why do I need to all the time hear these negative things? You just pack and go. That is what is happening. But I would say Finland, as far as healthcare sector is concerned, Finland cannot survive without immigrant. Cannot survive at all. Because the rate at which Finnish citizens are aging is really high.
Okay.
It's really high.
So it's still unclear what is prompting these anti-immigration sentiments that are contained in the proposal. It's clear to assume that it's either prejudice, it's racist, and it's the honoring of people who are not authentic, if you want to use the word authentic, which I think is even incorrect. Because once you are a Finn by nationality, you are a Finn. Once you are a taxpayer by contribution, you are entitled to enjoy all of the benefits that come with it. And anyone can be at a risk of unemployment, anyone can be at a risk of losing a job, and they must have sufficient time to seek re-employment, to even re-educate themselves during the process of waiting for a new occupation. So to give 3 months for people to find job is very irrational, unrealistic, and it just shows a level of hate or a level of desire to hurt a certain group of people. And in this case, we're talking about immigrants like myself, like yourself, like the others who are in this country who continue to contribute, students who might change the situation, but who might need to then transition from student to job seekers, from job seekers to employees or employers, or to entrepreneurs. But in 3 months, if you look at the period of time when you once can start a business, it's more than 3 months. So if a guy or a person needs to begin to find a job in 3 months and must leave if he doesn't find it in 3 months, it's ridiculous, to say the least.
I mean, for a native Finn who is a professional, once their contract ends or they leave their place of employment, getting a job in 3 months, it's even unrealistic compared to, so yeah.
And that is the reason why I think if the regulation is only aimed at immigrants, then it's wrong. It is unconstitutional. It's signaling of a group of people because of their status in society, because of their background. It's not because of their contribution to society. It's all about because they are the others. But if we would say if anyone who loses his job cannot get a job in 3 months, must not be allowed to get a benefit, unemployment benefit, then we'll be like, okay, it's clear. I mean, you need to look for a job immediately, but still that would be unfair because when you pay into unemployment,
you should repeat
unemployment institution fund. It's a security. It's a security for when you become unemployed. That will be your source of sustenance, your source of income until you can find a job.
There has been a lot of data presented, opinions expressed on the impact of the new proposed policies and on the question of Finland growing or functioning without immigrants, or what that process will look like, and what a Finland without immigrants look like. Perhaps we will never know, or perhaps this expert will give us an answer in the next part of this documentary. Now, the Philippines, I know, mostly are in the
healthcare field.
How you've had friends also who are Filipinos. What has been their experiences?
Okay, some have some they have like positive experience, but most of them the experience is negative.
Okay.
Because yes, we understand those are developing countries.
Yes.
So when a person is like, you tell me I'm going to take you to Finland, this will be the salary. You compare the salary you are receiving in your home country and what you are being promised, you see like, this is a lot.
Okay.
But when you come here, you are qualified, but the work you are given is not even half of your qualification. It's really below your qualification. I don't understand why a registered nurse can come from a certain nation, they come here, they start working as carers. Basic things. A caregiver, you just give, it's like the basic skills washing and feeding. That is the work of a caregiver. A caregiver doesn't take care of medications, doesn't do like this nursing skill. And in most cases, these caregivers, they have either not gone to school or they have done the basic skill in caregiver, which takes maybe few months to 1 year, then you get your certificate. When you are a registered nurse, you have studied for 3 years and something. You have gone through every, those practices and everything. And then when you come to the working field, you'll be reduced to a caregiver. Those are the kind of things like that. I feel like it's not fair. But if a person agrees, like this is what I'm coming to do, and you know this is what I'm coming to do, and you are for that, there is no problem. There is no problem reducing yourself from a profession to a basic thing. Yeah. But the thing is, when you come, you are promised a job, then you come here, and then there is no job that you are promised in the field that you wanted. So you end up working in other fields. Those kind of things. And I know when you are coming, especially from developing country, you may hear a deal and feel, this deal is so good. It's so good, I'm picking it. But when you come here, you see the dark side of the life. I think in most of the these immigrants who come here as professional, let's say like healthcare workers, those are the experiences I have heard them talk. Like they are given a deal, they see the deal is so good. So when they come here, they find it's not good the way they were being. Yeah. So if I am told I will be paid 1,800, I compare it to my home currency, I see, this is a lot of money. But when I come here, that is not the issue. The cost of life is high. There is so many small bills I have to pay because I was brought here. You see, there are things you have to pay, like the company that brought you here. There are things that you have to pay. But you see, this money even you are getting is not even helping at all.
One, the person might not work in the field that he's supposed to, according to the qualification.
Yes.
And then the pay is not even enough for you to. It's just enough for you to survive, but not enough for you to grow as an individual.
Not at all. Even some do struggle to survive. That's why I'm saying, yes, if the Finnish government says they are prioritizing bringing foreigners back from those countries, what about those foreigners who are already here? What are you doing with those who are already here? Why don't you take care of those who are here? You make them stay here, stay in those careers. I'm talking about healthcare. If it's a nurse, give the nurses all the kind of support that they need to stay in nursing field, not to think of changing the career or think of relocating to another nation. There is this is wastage of time.
According to your qualification.
According to my qualification, I should be working maybe in the development field, like healthcare development field, and not like basically dealing with patient indirectly. I will be in the management level.
Are you able to do that?
Well, it's not easy. It's
Why?
not easy at all to get the job that I want. But I can get another job that I feel I'm not satisfied doing it.
But because you just want to pay your bills.
Yes. So one thing is like the jobs that are open, they are the jobs that I feel like, no, this is not what I need. I need that job that is in line with my education. Yes, I may say, anyway, go and take a position to be like ward manager. For the ward manager, I can't even equip it with my education. Those are the easiest you can get. Those, and then so I stay like that. I say, is it like I take that position though I don't feel okay working in that position just for the sake of taking it. So that's why sometimes you decide like, I may take a position because I feel no, I have masters, and if I have masters, maybe I have to take something more in that field, and that qualification that I would want to take, it's not something that comes from my heart, and I feel it's even below the qualification I have. And to get the qualification that I need, probably I have to go out of it.
So
It's so easy. If I go out of Finland, I will get everything that I want. It's like UK. If you are a registered nurse and then you stay for a certain years, you will be promoted. Or if you go and study masters, you will be promoted to another level. In Finland, it's not like that. You see? So you will have your studies, but even if there is, like you see, there is you can be promoted, you will not. You have to leave that job where you are working. You go and try to find job somewhere else, of which is so hard. It's not easy. The way of supporting, let's say, healthy care workers here, it's not something that you can say it's up to the level. It needs reforms, and as I have said, something that I don't support is how they are trying to fix the problem. Because there is no way you can fix the problem whereas just looking outside, whereas the means of fixing the problem are just where you are
inside.
I'm sure Finland can support themselves with the students who are here, healthy care workers who are here. I'm sure if something is done, the problem can be alleviated. Because there is no way you will pay me a peanut and then you expect me to live there forever unless I have no vision. Unless I have no vision, I will stay there. Or unless there are some things that are making me to be there. Yeah, a person who knows what he or she is looking for, they will look for other ways to advance themselves.
Yeah.
But when the government comes with the means of making people to remain in the career and progress, people will not. People will be even eagerly to stand in nursing.
Yeah.
But it's opposite. When compared to Nordic countries, Finnish nurses are the worst paid.
Okay.
Yes, when compared to Nordic. That is what has made people to switch to these recruitment agents. They are these private recruitment agents. Because they are coming and they are paying better. Like you don't see what's happening. So you see, you can get almost twice the amount of money from recruitment agent compared to when you are working for the city. Kind of don't understand how city can pay, because if I work for a recruitment agent and the recruitment agent, let's say they pay me 25 euros per hour. For them to pay me 25 euros per hour, it means the city has given them good amount of money, probably 50 euros per hour.
Okay.
Because they have to make profit.
And they have their own expenses too.
So the thing is, why don't the whole country, like, because it's not a bureaucracy, what is it? Why can't they come with a system where they say we are raising the salary of all nurses to reach the salary that they get from the recruitment agent? Because I will give you the recruitment agent 50 euros to give me workers. Why don't I raise the salary and then I look the workers by myself? You are working with the city or with a certain private company, and you hear my friend is making good money, and we are here working at the same place, and we are being paid by different companies. Me, I'm getting peanut because I'm from city. The other one is getting good amount of money, even better than the one nurse who is there. And so you see, that creates even enmity and fight in the workplace. Yeah.
Hey.
Because some will think, me, I'm being paid less
than
than
we are
you.
doing the same
So
job.
you have to do more work.
Yeah.
But that is your choice to stay in that in that setting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
you see it brings fighting, and then you see people start leaving one by one. Some will either go to those recruitment agents, others will switch to other careers completely. Some will just go for sick leave for long. You see, it brings a lot of chaos in the workplace.
From what I see, they don't trust immigrants. Like, let's say, if you apply for a job, from what I know, they always pay, they will tell you, we are paying according to TA's agreement. So if TA said, give me 1050, they will give you 1050. That's what it says. But then we found out that the natives that we are working with, they pay them more than us. So it's like there are two ways. They have something special for a native, and then the immigrants, just give him something and he'll be okay. It's good, but there is going to be a time when it's not going to work like that anymore.
In other words, they really still do not see value in foreigners. That's what it means.
They don't trust and they don't really value. So if they see like one immigrant who has progressed or has climbed the ladder, then on the front page, immigrants that are progressing, immigrants and that, and the family of immigrants are doing this, and the kids of immigrants are doing that, because they don't really trust us and they don't really believe in us.
What do you think about this new immigration policy by the Orpo government?
Yeah. At least the 3-month term to find another job. I would say it's too short. Of course, depends on what field you're working in, but still, like I can say personally for me, if there's like it has been 2-year, 3-year contract, and there's been a gap of more than 3 months. It's and this has not been because somebody deliberately didn't give you a job or anything. It just takes time. First of all, I can say for myself, I'm in academia. So even when you finish a project, there might still be some task that needs to be completed, and you do it for your own good, for the project's good. It needs to be done. At that time, I don't think anybody is able to focus on finding another job, because that takes time. Yeah, because applying for a job seriously takes time, and applying for grants to get another project, things like that take time. And it might also be just because that was not the right time where you could apply for a grant, because no applications were open at that time, let's say. And then just 1 month afterwards, you apply for a grant, and then it takes again like 2 months to get two is very minimum, but at least 2 to 3 months to get the decision. So, and like for me, I got a grant now, which took like 5 months to know that I got a grant. So, I mean, 5 months later, you understand that you get a grant, and if you're already, out of the country, what use is it?
Yes.
Yeah. And again, that's wasted talent, right? So somebody did recognize, somebody in Finland did recognize that you had talent to do that work. And then, yeah, that's pure wasted talent, I would say. So yeah, that's something I can't understand, why there would be a limit of 3 months. And again, another aspect I would think is, suppose you had been working in Finland for, let's say, 2 to 3 years. You already know the culture. You already know how working in Finland works around here. Why would you be trained for 2 to 3 years and then do not want to employ that person again just because he couldn't find in 3 months a job in 3 months. Which means, again, you put so much effort to train a person, and then
So in other words, this policy is actually shooting people in their foot.
Sorry?
It's shooting is this parable, you shoot yourself in the foot. So you're training, I mean, all over the world, other countries are looking for this same talent pool.
Yes.
So
you have put all the sources to train this person into somebody who has much more, like improved quality and improved ideas and everything. And then you give them to some other country, which
100%. 100%.
How?
Look, like I told you, they are very, very patriotic. As you can see, let's say they are complaining of shortage of labor. There are a lot of immigrants who have the same qualification. But check this out. They started calling people who are on retirement. So where lies the immigrant? You're still where you are. They just want to let you know, like, hey, yes, you are there, but we like you here, but we don't want you here. We like you here, but we don't want you around. So just stick to where you are. We rather bring those that are retired, and if all the immigrants will move out of Finland, it's not going to change anything about Finland. Finnish economy will be what it is. It will still progressing. Nothing will happen because they've built themselves in such a way that immigrants are welcome, but we are not going to depend on or rely on them.
If this is true, then why do they feel the need to want to import experts from other countries?
It's all about politics. It's all about politics.
I think it's not a realistic situation. So it's like a false question in a way. So in that sense, we have to go back to the question, to the root of the question. Why are we asking it? Because there will not be a Finland without foreign citizens and Finns and people of foreign origin in our lifetime, probably, and definitely not in the coming months or years. There may be a Finland with more restrictive immigration laws, and which even pushes out some of the people who were working and living here. But that will not make Finland have no immigrants at all. Well, I don't know, if maybe in the dreams of some people there would be only a white and Finnish-speaking native Finn with Finnish grandparents, Finland. But I think that's a bit minority, and it's not gonna happen. And even with more people, it wouldn't necessarily happen. But so I don't think it's a realistic question that we would have a black and white scenario, but we are gonna be in some different grays, and it's gonna look more dark, possibly with this government, and that's the thing I don't like. People who have a foreign origin, people who are not native, as you describe them, who are not born in Finland from Finnish parents. This country would be in big trouble in day one, and it would be in big trouble after 1 or 2 years, and it would manage somehow. And people would come up with solutions. They would substitute some jobs with machines, and elderly people would get a worse service, and healthcare would be maybe worse. It would be a less diverse, and also I think a less functional Finland. I think the country would continue to exist, and maybe the Finnish language would be preserved better for less amount of Finns who would struggle inside and in the international scene. Finland would manage somehow more hardly, and people would come with some solutions, and maybe they would solve many issues. And the Finnish unemployed would be pushed more to fulfill some jobs. It would be especially a less diverse Finland, and it's not a Finland I want.
Negative, yeah.
Yes. So some would argue that, well, if every foreigners leave Finland, we could just ask those in retirement to come back and do the job.
It's possible, but then if we invite people from retirement to do the work, you look at the productivity or the level of productivity. They're not energized enough. An 18-year-old or 25-year-old compared to a 7 or 8-year-old, the output, the productive output is different. The vitality is different. So if you just want people to work, for work's sake, that can work. But if you want people to work to increase the competitiveness, then you need to use young generation, vibrant entrepreneurs, very articulate minded,
Fresh
ideas, innovative thinkers, innovative leaders who can look outside the box of just the we, but embrace the us mentality. And so that will work. But then at the same time, if you look at, in parallel, there's a practice where companies are hiring healthcare workers from the Philippines, from Romania, from Brazil,
Vietnam.
from Vietnam, Southeast Asia, and Far East. However, in this society, there are nurses from sub-Saharan Africa who have gone to school, doctorate, master's program. They have to make use of these people. So if you cannot utilize your reservoir of workers now that you have, and over them or in their place, you bring new people, what you're going to do is going to be a surplus of labor. It could work to the benefit of the society if the intention is to decrease salary. Then you have a pool of workers who will work for anything. And then you can now exploit their needs and desire and make them work and struggle, in fact, fight among themselves who gets what. You scramble for the limited resources in terms of salary expectation or salary level. So that could be an orchestrated game by the government. They want to do that. It could be all planned. So nothing happens in the void or in the vacuum.
Yeah.
It's all orchestrated. I'm sure there's a game plan.
Yeah.
But that game plan does not benefit immigrants. Because if you look at now what you got immigrants who went to school in this society, who can now have work or permit to work, but not getting work. And then at the same time, you bring people from the Philippines, from Brazil, who have to learn the Finnish language, the Finnish working ethics, and
The Finnish culture.
the Finnish culture, compared to those who've been there for
Yes, who
20
are
years,
assimilated.
15, who are assimilated somehow, who can easily learn
And blending.
and blend in the corporate culture. But you sideline them because you probably get a cheaper labor wage to the others. So it is unfair, but then the employer benefits, society benefits, but that doesn't create any competition at all.
And economically, I don't think it even makes sense because they have to spend quite a bit of money,
Training them,
Yes, and helping them acclimatize to the
acclimatize,
society.
learn language. You got to send them to language schools,
Yes,
language courses.
Yes.
You have to pay. So you're not saving.
No.
I just read that by beginning of next year, or say by October or next year, there will be a reduction in social security benefits all across. And if you just cut one cost, that doesn't make you competitive.
No.
You have to have a strategic plan across the board. You have to have industry development. You have to have entrepreneurial development. You have to have innovation going on. You have to have job creation to boost
the
economy. And the economy on its high, on its growth. When growth is high, you mentioned population decrease. If there's no population for the future, I mean the workforce will be decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. So you don't have an economic impetus as the government claims that this program policy. Now we're focusing on immigration. There are other aspects that might make sense, but combined, it is not good for the economy. In isolation, I mean, combined, holistically, it will be good. But in isolation, to look at just immigration and industries or entrepreneurship on its own, it just don't work. You need to find a balance between them.
Yeah.
They're all interconnected. And so any policy should be very much holistic and made to give a broader
outlook
of what is the benefit.
In my personal opinion, at this day and age, no country actually survive without immigrants. If I have to talk about Finland, especially, I do not like to compare. However, when you are a country where you have such well-known brands like Nokia, Angry Birds, how would you expect to go out there in the world not knowing anything about their perspective, and how would you know about the other people's or the world's perspective without having immigrants? It's not possible. It's just not possible. To get out there, get something, you also have to give something. And that's how the universe works. So immigrants are a very important part of Finland, especially now that this new flow of immigrants coming in who are extremely highly skilled, and they are also bringing in highly skilled spouses. There was a news article done on Ule News few months back how if the highly skilled spouses are not happy, these highly skilled immigrants are also leaving because of that, because they're not able to have a happy family here. There's no point. So how important it was to serve the spouses as well. And most people that were interviewed on that article who were highly skilled spouses, they've had experiences of 5 years, 10 years in different industries, and they were willing to settle down, and they wanted to buy properties here. That itself is a contribution. And they wanted to raise their children here, and they were looking out in the future. So this is how much willing immigrants are to contribute to Finnish society. They want to call it home, and they are willing to work. They want willing to do research. They want to do more philanthropic work. They are getting into politics. You name it. There's every field immigrants are there.
Finland as a country has lots of potential and a lot going for it. The current working age group is highly skilled and equally highly educated. However, the Finnish economic landscape is quite limited. It puts a cap on the career progressions of its working group. To accommodate and retain this talent pool, the Finnish decision makers will have to come up with strategic ways of expanding the industrial landscape so that the current talent can be absorbed. Instead of always thinking of importing skilled labor from elsewhere, it will do the Finnish decision makers a world of good if they look inward first. Leverage all the existing talent before thinking of bringing in labor from elsewhere. Immigration policies should not punish hardworking immigrants. Rather, they should reward good behavior and deter those who seek to take advantage of the welfare system. Recognize that immigrant students who come here to study are potential workforces with large connections. They already have skills that can be tapped into. This implies that the integration program targeting the learning of language skills will have to be modified. Whether or not Finland can grow and function with or without immigrants depends on the side of the aisle you stand on.